All right, what is up, Comedy Calendar fans? Welcome to this week's edition of the Community News Comedy Calendar. We are coming to you live, pre-recorded in South Miami from the Black Studio here at the Community Newspapers, as we do every single week. This show where I, your host, Sebastian Alvarez, and my co-host, Art Roach here, go through everything that is happening in South Florida comedy on a week-to-week basis. We give you a little bit of what happened, what's happening, what's going to be coming up in comedy. First off, I want to talk about the really, really special guest that we have in studio with us today that's going to be giving us a little different flavor to the comedy calendar. He's not only one of the funniest local comedians down here in South Florida, but he's a Miami product who's one of my best friends and one of the servers and employees over at the Improv. Everybody here in the studio audience, give it up for my boy, Ben Smith. Yeah.
You're far too kind. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. No, Ben, we are super excited to have you on the show today. We're going to talk a little bit of comedy. We're going to talk about some of the spots that you frequent throughout the week here in South Florida. And we're going to be getting his opinion on all these places and then interviewing him right after and talking about working at the Improv and Miami comedy in general. But up until then, I want to first, before we get into this last week, and introduce my co-host again, Art Roach, and give him a little platform to say a little something. Your dog groomer haircut is looking good right now. It's growing in.
I've been working on it. Week over week, I'm looking better, Sebastian. So I think next week what we're going to do is that we're going to launch a brand new community calendar crypto coin. It's going to be called Funny Laughs or Funny Bucks. We haven't decided on the actual name yet. But if anyone wants to get on the pre-sale right now, we are taking cash. So they can just find me anywhere I am, give me cash, and I'll give you one of these crypto coins for next week.
Fantastic. I am already looking for the moment to dump that coin. Fantastic. I love that. Anyway, guys, moving on to last week in South Florida comedy, we had a great lineup of shows over at the Miami Improv. We had Jessica Kirsten over the weekend. She killed them shows that she did out there. Super funny, was doing a bunch of crowd work, bringing a great energy, bringing an awesome crowd. As employees, they were super easy to work with, so we always loved that. They were super polite and came in with the energy and laughed. Earlier in the week, though, we had a few guys come through that actually surprised me and surprised you a little bit too, Art. Starting off with Wednesday, what was going down at the Improv?
Wednesday, we had Nasser Al-Reyes at the Improv, Miami Improv. I mean, the guy, on a Wednesday show, you're not expecting a lot, but the guy absolutely blew the roof off the place. He had an opener with him named Saad. The guy was hilarious. He's been traveling with him, I think, for over a year now. Nice. I saw a lot of pictures of them together. And he had a somewhat local opener that was the host for the night. Her name was Reem Edan, really funny comedian. She also has a ton of content online. She'll be here this week in South Florida, so I'm hoping that she'll come out, hit some of the local spots, and check out what's going on in South Florida comedy. But Nasser, I mean, I got to thank him from the bottom of my heart. He collaborated with us on one of the posts, and all his fans that have been commenting and forwarding our post. Big shout out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. And he actually brought us shawarma. He promised 2 orders of shawarma, and he just showed up to the club. Me and Art had shawarma for a little dinner that night, so it was great. Shout out to the shawarma king, man.
Hell yeah.
Great night of comedy over there at the Miami Improv on Wednesday. Moving on to Thursday, though, we had Anna Akana come through and do her thing. We were talking about how she has this variety kind of aesthetic to her. She's very eclectic. How did that end up going down? I actually wasn't there on Thursday, so what was it looking like? She
didn't disappoint. I mean, we had, I mentioned last week her show was going to be a combination of topics, including dating, mental health, and it got dark. That's the name. It Gets Darker is the name of her tour. It was amazing, really, really good. But again, big shout out. The person who I got to see an extended set of was Jen Sturger. She really surprised me. I mean, she held her own with Anna, who's one of the best doing it right now.
Yeah.
Great to see her. I think this week or next week, they're actually going to Hawaii for the first time. So,
damn.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that happening. Anytime any of them are here in South Florida, they'll be getting a shout out. They're part of the Comedy Calendar family now. So
I love that. Heck yeah. And anytime I hear about comics going out anywhere and getting paid to do comedy, let alone Hawaii, I'm celebrating it. But damn, Hawaii's pretty nice. Hashtag fucking goals, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. Moving on to this week in South Florida comedy, though, we got a jam-packed week of great stuff coming up for you, not just in the local spots, but also at the Miami Improv this weekend. It's going to be really fun and fantastic. Starting off on Monday, though, I am going up to Dania Beach, and if you want to join me up there, I'm going to be at 14 North Dania. That is the room that is run by our good friend Ellie Rodriguez every single Monday. This week, it is not an open mic, so if you're an open micer, don't come through unless you want to just watch the show. We actually have a book show, and it's a fantastic book show. Hosting is my boy Vladdy, and featuring on there, we got my boy Mike Daba. He's going to be out there. He's runs a few rooms down here. Lucas Jason, who is one of our good friends who used to work at the the Improv, now is based more up north. I'm so excited to be able to see him out there. Diane, it's going to be really fun. It's going to be a great lineup. I'm really looking forward to it. Shout out to Ellie for putting together a great lineup and putting me on that. So 14 North Dania is going to be on Monday. That's starting off at 8 p.m. Ben, you've actually been out to 14 North. You've been doing the room since it opened.
I have.
Really. So what do you think about that room and Ellie?
Well, what do I think of Ellie? First of all, shout out Ellie Rodriguez. In my opinion, one of the premier comedians here in beautiful South Florida. You guys are really good at this. You guys are really good at this. I don't know, like, are you guys like breathing through your butts? I don't know. Like, I'm already feeling a little like, I don't know. No, 14 North is awesome, man. I mean, daiquiris. I mean, what's not to like? You know,
Hell yeah.
It's always a great time right next to the Dania Improv.
What about the room, like itself, like performing there as a comic?
It's awesome, dude. It's a very long room, very narrow room. Which makes for some very interesting encounters on stage. But it's a great room, man, and you never know what's going to happen out there.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about 14 North. It's kind of like a mixed bag. Like when you get like that mix of that, right? Like grouping of people that are like sitting in the front and paying attention, you can get like a really fun show going with crowd work and everything.
The energy just in Miami versus Fort Lauderdale, I feel like there is a difference. And if there was like a place to perform in Fort Lauderdale, I feel like 14 North is.
Yeah, it's like a perfect like.
It's a great go-to mic if you want to get out of Miami.
Good, like you get a feel for it. Like it's a good litmus test for how your jokes will do for a crowd of that demographic. Yeah, 100%.
Now, one thing I'll say about Dania 14 North specifically is 2025. I'm hoping to be up there at least once a month hitting that room. So I don't know, Ben, if you have the same kind of aspirations, but Ellie, if you're listening to this, book us, man. We want to be on that show.
Get us out there, dude.
Heck yeah. Moving on to Tuesday, though, we have a show at the Miami Improv starting off the week there, and it's actually a Portuguese show. So it's going to be only in Portuguese. Unfortunately, me and Ben don't speak Portuguese, but we do have somebody on the fucking mic that does speak a little Portuguese. So I'm going to let my man Art Roach, the Brazilian baddie, go off and take this one from here on out.
Obrigado, Sebastião. O show terça-feira, claro, vocês não falam português, eu posso falar qualquer coisa e não vão nem entender, mas terça-feira, 10 de dezembro, às 8, no Miami Improv tem um show do Thiago Santinelli. Ele é um stand-up brasileiro, desde 2017 ele já faz stand-up, nasceu na Brasília, mas agora ele tá viajando o mundo inteiro. Ele foi advogado, não deu bem, tentou ser pastor, parece que não deu bem, e hoje por hoje faz stand-up. Eu tô animado, quero ver as histórias. Eu gosto muito de stand-up em português, então tô louco. E claro, sempre os fãs do stand-up brasileiro aqui em Miami, pra mim, são dos melhores fãs. Então eu tô louco pra ver todos eles lá no show. Terça-feira, às 8, no Miami Improv. Thiago Santinelli.
That's right.
I don't know what he just said, but I'm turned on. I'm turned on right now. That made me want it.
That's right. I think he said something about soccer. Is that what you were talking about? Soccer? Or?
He said, please keep all hands and feet inside the ride.
Were those the upcoming dates for Carnival?
That's actually the FIFA 2026 schedule that I just read out.
Oh, got you. Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Hell yeah. Well, give it up for Art and his Portuguese. There we go, man. That's Tuesday at the Improv. All right. Moving on to Wednesday, though, we got a few local shows for you guys happening. The first one's going to be over at Eddie's Place. This is the Master Debaters special qualification for the season 2 finale. We have a wild card edition of Master Debaters, guys. First of all, if you haven't been out to see Master Debaters in person, if you're a comic, and even if you're not booked on the show or you're not going to do it, first of all, there's an open mic after, but come and watch the show.
Because that's one of the most fun shows.
Dude, as a comic, it's one of the most fun things you can watch because it's not us doing our sets as usual. You know what I mean? You come and see this like unique like head-to-head battles and these these situations that you're not going to be able to get at almost any other mic.
And I feel like as a comedian, those shows are always extra fun to do because there's always another added element to it.
No, and I'll be honest with you, since
you get to flex different muscles.
Yeah, no, and since I've been going, even if you go and do the open mic, I've seen a lot of the audience members, because the vibe is so good for the main show, they stay engaged and they lock in. It's like, it's been the best I've ever seen Eddie's.
I agree,
think
1000%.
and since I've ever been doing Eddie's, that's the best that it is, even for the open mic or like the show that they're producing before. Big shout out to Jay Milley and everything that he's doing with Master Debaters. It's pretty much a wrap. I don't even know why they're doing this like whole qualification thing, because I'm gonna win next week on Wednesday. I'm throwing Ben under the bus. He's going down. Everyone who's on that show can get it, is pretty much all I'm saying. I called them out last time and they didn't believe me. They thought I was talking big on the show, but I came through and I destroyed everyone. Currently in the top 3 pound for pound best debaters.
Master debaters.
Yeah.
I mean, top 10 yapper in Miami for sure. This guy over here.
There you go.
And one of the things I'll big shout out to Jay and Jose, because obviously the filming, I saw the clip from last week's show, looks amazing, and I'm very much looking forward to having like kind of a weekly update here where we play one of their clips every week and really get you guys up to date on what's going on with Master Debaters. We want it to be like a seasonal thing that people really engage in and have kind of their fan favorites.
Yeah. Moving on to the other show we got locally happening here on Wednesday. Ben is actually going to be on that show. You're hosting, correct, Ben?
That is correct, Sebastian. I will be hosting down at the Biscayne Bay Brewing Company, which is not in Biscayne Bay. It's downtown. I don't know why they call it that. But everybody out there is really cool. If you see the guy behind the bar, if you go to the show, his name is also Ben. Ask him for a Hazy Ben. It's a drink that we created together with, I think it has whiskey and beer.
Oh, wow.
So it makes the show really funny if you drink that. Definitely get one of those when you go in there. It's a really, really cool spot, though. It's a little spooky to get into, because you're sort of just walking around on the street. You literally have to walk into a golden elevator, and then boom, you open it up, and there's like a million people inside. So
Nice.
a really cool spot.
So I know you're hosting this week. Are you booking for any of the shows? Because if you are, I happen to know 2 comedians here that
I mean, we'll see what we can do. You know, it's a really tight schedule. I mean, yeah, sure. Coming up, I mean, it's not my mic to book, but you know, could be subject to change.
No, but I was gonna say, what we got to do is end up going out there and watching a show one night, because
Yeah.
I've never been to the room, so I definitely want to go out. Now that you've kind of laid down the lay of the land, I'd love to go out there and watch that room go down on a Wednesday.
well, and actually, I'm glad you said that, because I think this Wednesday we're not working, so
Yeah.
I might be coming by this Wednesday and saying hello.
Heck yeah.
It honestly is one of the most comfortable places. It's one of the most comfortable mics.
Oh, that's what's
like
up.
around for sure.
Nice. Heck yeah.
The staff is really cool. It's a really huge space. I don't know, the vibes are just always cool in there.
Nice.
Except when they're not, but you can make them good.
Yeah. Of course. But that's like every room,
Shout out 2 weeks ago, you know, you guys know who I'm talking about.
I guess.
That crowd was horrible. but it's still fun though.
Yeah.
It's always still fun.
Moving on to Thursday, though, at the Miami Improv, or actually, we're going to start off up in Dania Beach with a kind of an up-and-coming superstar coming through Dania Beach. Art, you have a little more information on that, correct?
This is one of the shows I'm very excited to see. We have Craig Conant coming up. This guy, I mean, you've seen him online. You've seen his social media stuff. As far as like new comedian, I haven't seen anyone with as much actual onstage material online. I mean, he's got 7 minutes, 12 minutes just left and right. 2 weeks ago, he actually did a Don't Tell, and it was really funny. He was talking about ayahuasca and a bunch of other kind of recreational activities like that. So the guy's hilarious. He's got really good clips. I can't wait. I'm hoping to be able to make it to that show. But you know, there's a very little likeliness I can make it to that show. So if anybody in the Miami comedy scene gets to that show, I would love to hear a review. I'd love to see what you saw from it, so we can talk about it next week.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually a huge fan of his content online as well. He's super funny. And I think it's going to be great shows out there in Dania. So I will say this, the show we're about to talk about in Miami, unfortunately, also an internet sensation coming up right now, but his shows are sold out. So I don't know what the status is for shows, for tickets right now currently in Dania, but I would recommend if you did want to go out and see a show, Dania is probably going to be more realistic, because right now, this week at the Miami Improv, Thursday through Sunday, we got Jeff McEnery. And I'm so excited for this. This guy had his tickets go on sale in April, and they sold out in like 15 minutes. Every single ticket sold out in like 15 minutes, and they've been sold out to the gills since then, since April. And we've all known that this was coming for the entire year. Everyone at the Miami Improv has been talking about it. Man, from management to the dishwashers, we're all like, yo, we got Jeff McEnery. We got Jeff McEnery. Like, this is going to be crazy. I'm super excited because I'm a huge fan of his and his content and what he does online. And I've never been able to get a chance to see him even do a 10, 15 minute set, which is what he's probably normally doing if you catch him at the Cellar. So getting to watch him do 4 or 5 hours of stand up this weekend. He does a lot of crowd work. He does a lot of stuff like that. I am beyond over the moon excited.
And I'll say this. I mean, with him selling out all these tickets, there's no way that if he comes back next year, he's still going to do clubs. I mean, the guy's going to move on to arenas. So if you want to catch him in a club setting, this is the chance. You know what I mean? If you already don't have tickets, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, so the way that actually, if you don't have tickets, here's a little tip for you guys. If you're ever coming to the Improv, or if you ever see a sold out show in the Improv and you're thinking, man, it's sold out online, how do I get tickets? Or is there tickets going to be opening up? The way that our waiting lists work at the Miami Improv for any sold out show, it's an in-person walk-up waiting list. So if you're there in person during the start of the show, whenever show start is, when we close doors and we get everybody inside and sat, at that point, we open up a waiting list. You can sign up on there. We take down your name and phone number. You can go enjoy City Place for a couple minutes. 30 minutes after the show starting, if we have space available, at that point, we'll go through the waiting list top to bottom and start calling people, filling and selling those seats. At this point, that's probably, if anybody out there wants to go to that Jeff Curry show, that's probably going to be your best shot to get tickets.
Yeah.
So there is a chance. There's always a couple spaces. If you're nice, we always try and help everybody out. That's what we always try and do. We have extra tables in the back that we can pop out. It might not be the most comfortable situation for you, but if you really want to come see Jeff Curry at the Improv, we're always going to try and help you guys out. And we're always going to try and maximize our space to make sure that everybody who wants to see the show can. So if you didn't get tickets and you're kind of bummed out, come by for either of the shows of the weekend that work, and we can try and get you help and get you on that waiting list if you're there in person. So that is going to be this weekend at the Miami Improv, though. That is Jeff Curry for the night. We have one Saturday show that's actually a very special Saturday show that we do here at the Miami Improv every once in a while, and that's going to be for El Caballo. I am so excited for this, man. El Caballo always brings an insane crowd. They come hyped. They're his fans. His social media content is second to none. If you don't follow him on Instagram and across all platforms, please go follow El Caballo right now. Because
I can't wait to see his calves in person again.
Oh, yes. Dude, no, El Caballo's calves look like they came off of like a Greek marble statue.
Of a horse.
A horse. Yeah, it looked like they came off a horse.
He runs 10 miles in the sand every morning. You know that's how he
He's
gets
actually
those.
a Navy SEAL from the knee down.
Yeah. He's the only Navy SEAL who can do ballet.
But El Caballo is always doing a great time, or is having a great time when he comes to Miami Improv. It's a huge party. It's a good time. Yeah. And his material over the last like 2 or 3 years has gotten so good on stage. His like jokes, everything that he does, his the kind of the character that he brings to the stage is always a lot of fun. So if you don't have tickets to that, you can absolutely go on the Improv right now and get some tickets for that show.
Yeah, I will say, so it's Saturday. It's a 4 p.m. show at the Miami Improv. So it's going to be a little bit earlier than usual, 4 p.m.
That's right.
And you said El Caballo, he calls himself the most censored comedian in South Florida, in Miami. Mm-hmm. And we're expecting that to be the case. So the show's going to be rowdy. It's probably going to sell out. There's only a couple of tickets left. So definitely, if you want to get onto that show, go online right now, MiamiImprov.com, buy the tickets. We are guaranteeing that madness will ensue on that show. So I'm excited for it.
Show's at 4 p.m., but it's 5 o'clock somewhere, baby. You get that 2-drink minimum in you.
Heck yeah.
You know, and chill with El Caballo.
Are you going to be bartending on that Saturday, 4 p.m.?
I will. I should be there. You can see me serving tables on my peasant shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you come by, you can ask for Ben's section.
Yeah, any Comedy Calendar fans, if you come by, ask for Ben's section. I will definitely come by your table, say what's up. It might even have some special treats for you guys.
And you can't miss me, dude. I'm the palest thing in there.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
The light, it refracts.
Moving on to something that is coming up in South Florida comedy, guys. We are doing a little look ahead to some of the have-not shows that we have coming up now in the next month over in Miami and Dania. I am so excited for these lineups. This first show happening in Miami, it's December 18th at the Miami Improv on at 8 p.m. We got Lando Gonzalez, Amber Joy Lane, Mike Daba, and Jay Moreno on that lineup. Obviously, Dom P, he is curating the lineup. He will also be performing on that show. What a badass lineup that we got going on right there. I can't wait to see that show happening over at the Miami Improv on the 18th.
Well, we promised that the have-not shows will get better and better as the year progressed. This is the last show of the year. And I mean, I cannot imagine a better lineup, especially with headliner Jay Moreno. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, 100%. I'm really, really looking forward to that. And then we also, over at the Dania Beach Improv on December 30th at 8 p.m., we have a have-not show happening up there in the north. And it is going to be another jam-packed lineup. Not only because yours truly is going to be on it as well, but we got Manny Garavito, Carl Remy, and the man Nadeem Award. I am so happy for this lineup. I'm happy to be a part of this show. Dom, of course, is also going to be on that lineup doing his thing. But man, I am excited. It's Monday, December 30th. It's like a New Year's Eve-esque show. So come and enjoy the party, ring in the new year with Have-Nots the way that you want to. Dania Beach always gets rocking when the Have-Nots come through. So by all means, get your tickets now. You can go through the Have-Nots page and be able to get any tickets, or you can go to DaniaBeachImprov.com or MiamiImprov.com to get any tickets for those future shows that are upcoming.
And I'll do a big shout out to Carl. His I Possessed movie.
Yes.
Just released. He just released.
Oh, man, you gotta check that out. Gotta check out I Possessed, man. We saw the trailer for that last time I did a show with Carl. That is an insanely good production that he put together. What a labor of love, man.
So he's a comedian, but this is a horror movie, so it's going to be very interesting. Love to see South Florida art like that.
And I'll be honest, I'm not a huge horror movie fan, but when I saw the trailer, I was intrigued because it's like a psycho horror movie. So it has this like very interesting kind of element to it that gives it a little deeper than just, it's a horror gore movie. Like, he did a great job. Him and his wife actually destroyed that production. Absolutely so cool that he's doing that.
So cool to see somebody too, just like making an independent film like that.
Right.
Like, because, it's you hear so many people with aspirations of doing things like that. But this guy's been plugging this movie for, at least a year and a half, been working on it, and, it's just really cool to see. I want one of those T-shirts.
Yeah,
I see him wearing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? On that show, he'll definitely have them. So
yeah. So come through if you want to come and get some more information on that. Definitely December 30th at the Dania Beach Improv.
Put me in the sequel. I want my head to blow up or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to get eaten by a monster.
That's going to be what's coming up in South Florida comedy, guys, and what is happening this week in South Florida comedy, though. Moving on to our next portion of the show. This is my favorite part of Comedy Calendar. Whenever we have a guest on, it's the interview portion, and we're going to be talking to you, Ben, just a little bit about what your experience has been throughout South Florida comedy. You've been in the game for a long time, way longer than me and Art, actually longer than both of us combined. You've been doing this for 10 years now.
And I got shit to show for it either.
I was going to say, you are still young, so you're still new to this game. It's not like, anything, but you have been doing it for a lot of time. You've been getting really good reps in, and, this isn't anything, performing isn't like anything new to you. Like, you've been doing this for a while, right? Like, for example, this first picture we got here, actually.
Oh, no, what'd you get?
Wow, what is that?
Where'd you, are you Nardwar, bro? Where'd you find this shit?
That is Peter Pan. I'm actually to the right of this picture on stage as well. But that is Ben looking dapper as ever in his suit.
How much more healthy I looked back then before I started doing stand-up.
You're the little girl with the flower hat?
Yes. Yeah. That's me right there in the bottom right corner. Yeah. But no, this is actually where me and Ben first met in 7th grade. We did this production together at Miami Children's Theater in Coral Gables. And
dude, we should talk about that, dude. Yeah, that was Peter Pan. That's me as Mr. Darling, as the parent of the children who get abducted.
Yeah.
Possibly the worst parents in all of fiction.
Yeah.
That was a great show, dude.
I was going to say, shout out to our director, Christina Sabina.
Shout out to Christina.
Who ended up becoming the drama teacher at Coral Reef, our alma mater.
Also, aside from Peter Pan, who was Wendy in that? That was Maria Bilbao.
That's right. Maria Bilbao.
Who has now performed on Broadway. Right now, she's at Actors Playhouse. I know you just saw that the other day.
I just saw her Tick Tick Boom at Actors Playhouse. A lot of great performers that were in that little production of Peter Pan back in the day.
That's the crazy thing about MCT, man, is that really was like the Miami Children's Theater.
Oh, you're right. Miami Children's Theater, for anybody that doesn't know, they're a local production company that has been putting on shows for
local
children.
With like a capital L, dude. Like I've seen shows there that are way better than like big main stage productions that I've seen elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Miami.
Shout out to Tim and Beth who run it.
Dude, shout out the Faths, bro.
The Faths.
I was just remembering, one of my first jobs actually was building and moving sets with Tim to different like elementary schools and stuff. Whenever they would have,
I was gonna say same. I actually
like high schools.
I was helping them one time in the summer build a set for when they did Les Mis.
I may or may not. I'm past the statute of limitations here. I definitely drove a 16-wheeler without a license. For sure. And it's way harder than it looks.
But all in the name of theater, right? The show must go on.
In the name of production.
But
these kids have to have a set.
But so I was saying also, similar, Christina ended up being the drama teacher at our alma mater, which is the second place where we started becoming friends and garnered our relationship, was at Coral Reef Senior High School in the theater program, which is right here, our second image, if you remember that.
Oh, of course.
Young Frankenstein.
Dude. Well, what's so funny is you see me right there hitting that nasty little whip, right?
Hit the whip.
The guy standing right next to me with the horse on his head, that's TJ. That's my boy TJ. That's my roommate.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him there.
That's my roommate, man. One of my best friends.
Also
in the world,
works
dude.
at the Improv. Right now, he's working in the box office because he tore his ACL.
Actually, fun fact. So what we're wearing on our heads, we're horses. All right. This is a production of Young Frankenstein. I thought I was gonna get something nice.
Yeah.
But a nice little role. But
You basically got tree.
But we both forgot that the auditions were that day. So I sang. Sorry, I performed a Young Lean song
That's
as
right.
a monologue, and TJ
did To Pimp a Butterfly. He did a song.
He did Mad City, the song Mad City as a monologue, and was just obscenities.
And said the N-word.
While looking my drama teacher in the eyes.
And our drama teacher was like, "That's art."
No, she thought the exact opposite. Whenever the cast list came out, it said me and TJ were horse. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding?"
But I will say the horses ended up being the best part of the show.
But so this was around the time when like Whip and Nene, like it wasn't cringe yet,
Right.
So there's a scene where and we had to go to all the fucking rehearsals, which sucked because we were just standing there like as the horses were just clopping around, like doing nothing, just eating shit, dude. It was just like a punishment. But there was a sound effect in the song that was a whip sound effect, and we were so bored at all these like rehearsals that we just started like hitting the whip, like doing all the shit. And
I was gonna say, so if you look at the picture, that's all of us hitting the whip because it was such a hit during the show. This is during the curtain call.
Can I
so this is
tell
when
the
we're
story?
all coming out to like bow and shit. So we all came out and we all hit the whip because it was that's me in a blue shirt right there.
yeah,
Oh my
look at that
In a
God.
blue shirt.
Look at that little lost boy right
Yeah.
there.
Oh my! It doesn't even look like you, bro.
Yeah.
Jeez, I was looking for you in the picture. I couldn't see you.
I remember whenever I reconnected with Sebi after we got older, and it was like, wow, the beard. Like you like left and like Earl, so you reappear bearded on top of the Lear, staring it into the kid's ear again. Like you look and now look at you.
What I will say is this: thank God that you and TJ each got your own horse, because it would have been nice if you.
If you were one,
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
Your audition was so
interesting.
bad, you each got half a part.
Well,
man.
I do shout out to Miss Q.
Miss
If you're
Q.
out there watching this, much to her dismay, we killed it as the horses. I remember. So whenever we did the first show, the first show that we did was like for the school, and they would always like pass out, like some papers, like the kids like, oh, any notes about the show, like to get it ready before, like the after school performances. And I just remember it was the night of like our first actual performance after she got those notes in. And she calls me and TJ into her office, and we're like, oh no, what do we do now? Like, we were like always getting in trouble back then. And she brings us in there, she closes the door, and she just goes, I don't know how you did it, but the only notes that we got was more horsing.
I remember this so vividly.
And we're like, so what is that? She goes, just put yourself in any scene. I don't care anymore. And dude, honestly, we got the last laugh, bro. Shout out to Miss Q. That was a legendary high school memory.
That was so
dude.
much fun.
I can't believe you dug up those photos.
Yeah,
bro.
man. That was that's what we do here on the comedy calendar. We make sure that you're nice and warmed up for the real hard hitting questions.
Oh, is that what's next?
Yes, which really aren't hard hitting questions. More.
Did you steal my phone charger back at that sleepover in second grade?
Oh no, we have the evidence. We know you
Yeah,
did.
we know you stole it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
we
I
have you on
still-
camera.
yeah.
No.
Old iPod charger, like it doesn't even fit anymore. I still have it.
But no, I wanted to talk a little bit about what got you into comedy. I know you've, like you said, you've always been a performer. You've always been kind of around a microphone. But what was it that kind of made you start comedy?
Well, Sebastian, I'm glad you asked. I was born a very stupid child, and people would often just laugh at me. And then eventually, I didn't equate that, oh, I'm just stupid. And I started thinking I was funny or something. I don't know. I don't know, man. I've always been sort of like the funny one in my family, I guess, and like just class clown kind of deal. But really what set it off for me, I remember being a kid, and one of my favorite movies of all time, still to this day, is Elf with Will Ferrell. The best Christmas movie. Don't even fucking at me, bro. But yeah, I don't know. I remember, do you remember in the beginning of that movie where it shows like Buddy the Elf like growing up?
Yeah.
There was whatever kid they got to like, he's riding on a bike. He looked just like me, dude. And I was like, representation? Like, I could do that one day. I could be stupid for money one day. And I don't know, man. It was always something that just interested me. And then, yeah, I started going out to mics whenever I was 16. Actually met Mike Daba way back when. He was telling the same jokes. Don't put that in. No, I love you, Daba.
It's going in.
Yeah, hey, whatever. Fucking put it in. He's a friend of Taurus, and he's a friend of yours. And he's a friend of mine. He's a friend of all of ours. What am I talking about? My life?
You met Dabba back then when you started doing mics. When you were
Yeah,
16.
yeah. I remember seeing Mike Dabba was back there. There's this place called Artistic Vibes that was right behind like the falls. We had a different name for it. It was
The place is no longer around. You can.
It was Autistic Vibes. We used to call it Autistic Vibes, which was very, very indicative of the vibes that were in there. But it was more of like what would you call it? Like some people were playing music, like some people would come in. Yeah, it was sort of like a general open mic. And I'm glad that nobody really went to those because I was horrible. I was really bad. I used to just embarrass myself every weekend back then. And then I don't know. Moved to New York for a little while.
Right.
To do stand up. COVID, the Fire Nation attacked. I ended up coming back here. Yeah, I didn't really get anywhere with comedy. It was sort of just like a hobby for a while. And then I came back here. You know, I remember my aunt, like, just said, because I came back here, I quit my job at Starbucks. I was unemployed. And my aunt was like, yeah, there's this comedy club in Doral. You should, like, check this out to, like, see if they're hiring. And I remember going there with TJ actually drove me and pulling up. There was nobody out there, by the way, because you know you guys know the importance of needing somebody in the box office. There was nobody in the box office. There was nobody there to help me out. But you know how like the box office thing like pushes in.
Yeah.
Like you can actually get in. Thank God they haven't fixed it since I fucking got the job there. But I remember I just pushed that down. I had my resume. I stuck it in the thing. It fell like right on top of the keyboard, and I left. And I got a call the next day. And they were like, come on in. And then, yeah, you know, the rest is history. I started working there. Got my boys, you know. They've packed it out with my boys.
Yeah, for real.
Now we're in that bitch.
To think that that's all of our Genesis story. That's how. That's the
how it
beginning.
all started with Ben just slipping his resume through the hole.
It all started with I was born a very stupid child.
Hey, look, a little stupid boy did something right, you know.
Yeah. So
If you do merch, man, next year we're gonna do merch for you. I'm gonna get you a shirt that says I was born a stupid child.
Stupid child.
I was born a
I was
stupid
just born a stupid child. That's all
stupid
I'm
cracker child.
saying.
Born in a manger.
So we've gotten to this point where you're working at the Improv. Talk a little bit about that. Like, talk about what since you started working there, kind of what's the experience been like? What like?
I'm gonna be honest, man. This is like I haven't had many jobs. I've done like little odd jobs in my life, but as far as like an actual like you know, I get like a W-2 like type jobs. I've only ever had 2.
Yeah.
I worked at Starbucks. They used to call me Lil Venti, making fraps and taking naps, baby. You already know what it is. Shout out Regal Park, Queens. Saw a guy have a heart attack in there one time.
Nice.
Kicked a homeless guy out of the bathroom on my first day. Everybody treated me with a lot of respect after that.
Yes.
I was just like, no, get him out of here. I want to go home. They were like, wow, you're so brave. I don't know. No, but the Improv, man, it's so like, a lot of times people say like, oh, like we're a family here at this job. We're a family here, whatever. This job really does feel like a family, man. Like, you know, a very dysfunctional family. But I feel like everybody who works, like, I feel like I've just gotten so close to everybody there, and you know, Melissa and Justin, the management, and everybody has just been so good to me, and I just love it, man. It's very high paced. It's very like
It's chaotic.
super chaotic, man. Super chaotic. But I think. You know, I started there when I was 24. I'm 28 now. I'm coming up on like 4.5 years working there. I basically kind of grew up in that place.
Yeah.
In a way. And I think I'm a lot better off for it. You know, I think it's given me a lot tougher skin. I think it's taught me to, you know, deal with pressure. And, you know, and it's been really cool, dude. Like my first month there, I got to like meet Pete Davidson and I gave him like a Pokemon card.
Yeah.
And like I was like, yeah, I'm not leaving this place. I'm gonna stick around.
How excited were you when Sebi hired me to be there at the Improv?
I mean, I contemplated suicide, but no, I mean, you know, it's great. It's great. I'm glad that I don't want to say I started the trend, but like starting the trend of like, you know, actually hiring people who do comedy.
Yeah.
Because when I first started working there, I was the only person who was like actively going out to mics and like actually really wanted to do this shit. Because everybody else really appreciated it, or there's people who like maybe did in the past, but you know, it was sort of just like a hobby to them. Everybody like appreciates comedy there, but I think it's, you know, now so many people on staff are comedians, and I think that's just better for, you know, the culture of it. As
much as I bust your chops all the time, like that is something that I definitely, you know, from when you started, and I was jokingly saying it, but I do really believe that from when you started, things started changing. You know what I mean? Sebi kind of went there. Once Sebi got there, he's now in the box office. He hired me. Now we have Jay Milley working there as well.
Yep. We have Ashvin in the back.
Ashvin in the back. Yeah, we had other people in the past house
Yeah.
that were comedians.
Peter Girl.
Yeah.
We had Peter Girl. We had Lucas was working there for
Lucas,
a little while
yeah.
too.
So that changed, and now like when everyone comes to the Improv like as a guest, and they're literally, hey, how you doing? Oh, and we say something funny like, oh, you're a comedian. It's like, yeah, we actually are comedians. And the next thing is, when are you going to perform here?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, next month or December 19th, whatever it is.
That's one of the coolest things too. Is like, going on stage and stuff is one thing, but whenever I clock in, I'm not there to be funny. I'm there to do my job. But the amount of people that like will just be in my section, they're like, hey, you're that guy who's like been on stage before, right? Like that's definitely given me like a boost. Like it's definitely better than working on like a Johnny Rockets. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, when it goes to like a surfing job, like it's got that extra little oomph to it for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
But and I appreciate what you were saying, but I mean, all the credit really goes to Melissa and Justin as well, just for having that foresight and being so generous with all of us shitheads there putting us all on payroll.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of amazing.
So when it comes to stand up right now, I know you're getting booked a lot. You go out and you're doing your mics, but
Doing all right.
right. But I'm saying going into next year, going into 2025, what are some of your goals as a stand up? What are you trying to achieve? Are there like rooms you're trying to hit up? Is there
Well, I feel like when it comes to like doing reps and doing mics and stuff, I mean, obviously, just want to keep that going. My big goal for this next year is online presence. If you go to my Instagram right now, there's not a whole lot there. I feel like I've always been very wary of like putting stuff online just because I guess I probably overthink it way too much. Then in my head, I'm like, you kind of only have like one shot to make a first impression. And I wouldn't say until maybe the past like year, I've actually been like, okay, like started thinking of myself as like actually being a pretty good comedian. Like, other people have like their opinions. I've always tried my best, but recently, like I've always said, like I recently became a Ben Smith fan.
right?
And that's the point that I wanted to hit before even like thinking about putting stuff online. But that's going to be the big thing. I have so much like stuff just stockpiled, and it's all just a matter of, putting it all together, putting it out, and having it make sense.
Right.
That's been the whole thing. I've attempted a lot of stuff before, but I don't know, content, and just putting myself more out there online, so you can see this gorgeous ugly face, on your phone. You can take it home with you.
Exactly.
I want people to be looking at me while they poop.
Yeah.
That's the
goal.
That's gonna be the big goal for this year. 2025 is the year of the poop,
Heard that.
of the poop wash.
I like that.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
claiming it now. You hear anybody else saying you're the poop? You fucking heard it here first. Is that funny? I don't think so.
I like it. I kind of like the idea of the goal being people watch you when they poop. That's really where like A1 content is consumed.
Yeah.
I mean, my best things that I watch are on the John, dude.
Well, I also think I figured out where I've been doing it wrong, because I've been trying to get people to watch me while I poop, and I think
there is a market for that.
Backwards.
Yeah, there's a
It's
market for that, but yeah,
niche,
no,
though,
it's
probably.
it's
That's why I'm
hard-
glad we do these interviews.
It's
'cause
hard to
otherwise,
build up a base with that. You know what I mean?
Art's like a sponge, dude. He just soaks up all the advice he gets.
Sometimes too much information. Yeah.
that's all I want. That's all I want is just to know everything.
No. Heard that. Well, guys, that has been one of my favorite episodes here on the comedy calendar so far. I mean, what a great interview we just had with my boy Ben Smith. Thanks for coming on the show, Ben, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. For real. You guys,
Handshakes all
There we
right.
go.
you guys are the shit, dude. Shout out to the comedy calendar, dude. Hey, what's going on? Where are the shows happening? It's on the fucking comedy calendar, you dumbass. You're not keeping up? Oh, calendar on my phone. Oh, you got that old fucking 2022 calendar in your house. You never even open it up. This is a comedy calendar every fucking week, bashing you over the head with it. My name is Ben Smith. You
There
guys
go.
are awesome. Whatever.
Art, anything you want to say before we head out?
No, thank you, Ben, for coming out. Thank you for making work great, and now you made this great. So thank you.
There we go. All right, guys. That has been this week's episode of the Community News Comedy Calendar. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show with us. Don't forget, if you want to see all of the shows that are happening in South Florida comedy, even the ones we didn't talk about today on the show, you can always check out the spreadsheet, the South Florida comedy spreadsheet that we keep linked in the description of this show, where it has everything that happens in South Florida comedy, including what we can't get to in this short show. But until next week, guys, thank you so much for watching. Tune in again next week. Until then, keep laughing.